Oh boy. Oh boy. All right. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Uh if you're seeing this, good. Um that means that we're actually live and recording, and hopefully nothing bad happens within the first few minutes of recording. Um I'm going to say this as calm as possible. And I'm going to say all of the mandatory stuff that I have to say before we actually dive into the episode. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to We Ate More Sports Podcast, episode 8. And tonight we are going to be talking about the wild card scenarios in baseball between the NL and the AL, as well as Gianni's Yankees, because I love to talk about the Yankees right now. He's got a trivia question also planned out for us. Stay tuned for that. The biggest wrestling show of all time, AEW All In London, is tomorrow, and I will be giving out predictions for that. And of course, we have the best thing that I saw last week that we'll be talking about at the end, and some final words that I have to say as well. And yeah, make sure you follow our socials, our YouTube and Instagram at WHS_podcast, and our YouTube and TikTok at We Hate Sports. Now that that is all out the way, I just have to say something. We start recording at 7:30 EST. It is currently 8:01 p.m. EST. My laptop has crashed. I'm recording this on my MacBook. For those who don't know, I have two laptops. One I use to edit, and most of the time to record. This laptop right here. And we record on Skype. Now, I've had issues in the past, but many of you don't know. But typically, Skype, my laptop right here, does not like Skype. Skype doesn't like Gianni right now either. That's why he's vertical. He can't turn his phone horizontally, because for some reason Skype has that issue as well. And yeah, I'm not sure why, but it's crashed 3 times in the recent episode of We Eat Sports. I've crashed 2 times now with this laptop for We Eat More Sports. We were literally in the middle of our segment for Stickball Central. We're doing this tape once again for the second time because Skype wants to hoe us. Respectfully, I want you to look me in the eye when I say this, Skype. I don't like your app. I don't like the idea of not being able to crop out or have control of the box either. I don't like you. I know. I could say a lot of things, but I just realized we're a kid-friendly podcast, so I'm going to contain myself. We're going to get into Stickball Central, but Skype, I just want you to know. I don't like you right now. I don't. Gee, let's try this one more time. Stickball Central, wildcard scenario. Go ahead.
Okay, so welcome to Stickball Central. We're going to talk about the American League and National League wildcard standings, and we're going to talk about my Yankees, the issues there, and then we're going to have a trivia question that's going to make PC think a lot. So, to jump in, we're going to start with the American League and National League wildcard race and everything that is going on there. So we're going to start with the American League. Right now, Tampa is the first wild card. Texas now fell to the second wild card, which is crazy. They lost 8 straight. Now the Mariners are in first place and the second seed in the American League. Then you got the Astros, who are kind of on falling apart as well. They're the last wild card. And then Toronto is there lurking. one game back. And if Houston loses tonight and Toronto wins, that's tied. So like is like a crazy race. PC, I don't know what you think, like how this is gonna end, but this is just insane.
Um, I'll say it once. I'll say it again. You had the Mariners at the beginning of the season making some noise in the playoffs this year. I think you even had them making it all the way to a World Series. Correct me if I'm wrong. But you know, first half of the season, they did not look like the team that they looked like last year. Like it was inconsistent. They were injured. It was very bad. And all of a sudden, they've hit their stride at the perfect time. They're like one of the hottest teams in baseball. The Rangers, one of my favorites, one of the hottest teams in baseball for first half of the season. All of a sudden, they look like a Triple A team, and the pitching is horrendous. And when you're in the wild card scenario, it is so hard to stay consistently on top there. When you're first in a division, it's easy to make mistakes. It's easy to have like at least one bad week. When you're in the wild card scenario, you can't have one bad week. And for a team like Texas, who has essentially, they've essentially, gone from like the second wild card spot to potentially being out of a wild card spot after one bad week, like which is insane. With all the talent that they have. The Mariners, on their hand, they were 10 games back, 10 games back at the start of 2 weeks ago. Now all of a sudden, one streak later, they're about to take one of those wild card spots. A team like Toronto, Tampa, and them like all being in contention. And that's not even mentioning other teams that I'm sure are going to obviously, be in the running for that wild card spot. Even a team like the Rangers, you have the Angels still, even though what happened to Shohei. I think I've been more honestly impressed with which team has choked the hardest here. Rays were the best team in baseball. Now all of a sudden, like they look like a pretty average team, like below average if you're asking me. And I'm not rooting for them if you're asking me. I'm definitely not rooting for them, especially at the Wander Franco situation that you can dive more into if you want, Gianni. But there's them. You have the Rangers, who have, like I said, they were one of my favorites. They have all the talent in the world. They look like a Triple A team right now. The pitching's horrendous. And then you have the Mariners, one of the best teams in baseball right now, one of the hottest teams in baseball right now. And that's really all it comes down to in the game of baseball. Like you gotta get hot at the right time. And World Series the past few World Series champions, they've done that. So it makes sense. I just think that it's chaos in the AL, and I think it's a matter of who's going to have a bad week first. And that's, I think, a far cry from what we've seen in the NL so far.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's just like every week now matters a lot now because Baltimore and Seattle, they're now the first two, like the two top seeds. They will have the bye week, I don't know, but they're not too many games ahead of second place. But it's like a great race, I think, to keep an eye on. But now the National League is now a crazy bunch up mess right now because the Marlins were like the team that was the last wild card. Now they're 500, 3 games back of the last wild card. You got Arizona, actually not Arizona, the Giants and the Reds were in the wild card picture a couple of games. Now they're outside of the wild card picture by 1 game. Now you got the Cubs and the Diamondbacks as the second and third wild card with the Phillies. They're a couple of games ahead of the second wild card. They're now the first wild card. So it's like just all bunched up. I just don't know who's going to get those last two wild cards. It looked like the Cubs and Diamondbacks are just red hot right now.
It's so hard to pick a winner. Like again, like when you're first to the division, like, let's take a team like the Braves, like, who are like chilling right now. They don't have to worry about this. And it's a shame too, because Phillies are having a really good season after starting off slow. Um, they can't have a bad week. Like, that's what's so hard about the wild card. Like, you can't have a bad week, especially in the NFL this year, because you have red hot teams like the Diamondbacks, who've won 6 in a row. You have the Cubs, with 67 wins. You have the Reds, who also have 67 wins. And you're factoring in teams like Miami and San Francisco. It is a logjam, to say the least. I don't think we're safe. I don't, thankfully, like our schedule for September is it's not easy either. There's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be vying for that, one of those wild card spots, and for the Phillies is crucial, is important for them to stay on task and find a way in. Just get one of those wild card spots. I know the Giants, they took the season tiebreaker against us. So that's going to, for a team like them who are on the outside looking in, say the Phillies have one bad week, that can impact so much. So yeah, it's a lot, Jim, right now. I haven't even mentioned the Brewers too, who aren't safe, I think, in their own division. So yeah, it's bad. It's bad right now.
Yeah, it's just like, to me, it's just like a bunch of mess right now. Is gonna be nobody safe really in that wild card. I think, to me, the team that I'm impressed really that started well, then fell apart, and now are hot is the Diamondbacks, because Diamondbacks are red hot. They fell apart. I think they fell to 500, and now they're 6 games over 500. They're now back to what they were beginning of the season. So like, they're scary. The Cubs, I didn't see them coming at all, really. Like, they came out of nowhere, really. So like, that's crazy, because PC teams that come out of nowhere like that usually go on a deep run. If you look at the last couple years, so like, the Cubs have like a good pitching staff. They got a good core of players in their lineup.
They
Well,
just
I see.
they're having fun right now playing baseball. Like, it shows. When you're having fun playing baseball, like, usually good things tend to happen. In the case for the Cubs, they're currently, the final wild card spot because of it. I think what will test them is, how long can they keep this up? As long as they can keep this going, then they'll be all right. I'll give them a chance against whoever they face in the wild card weekend. But yeah, right now that's a team that's just having fun, and it shows. It shows. In their play. Nico Horner. How do you say that man's last name? Nico.
Yeah, Nico.
Yeah, he's been red hot. He's one of the premier heroes in baseball right now. So he's leading that squad. And it's backed up by some veteran bats as well, some great pitching. So David Bell, he has his guys with their head on straight.
Yeah, like, I just think this race is going to be like a pretty good race to watch now that we're almost in September. I think, yeah, and then the next show is going to be in September. So like, it's going to be seeing how this race turns out to be. Like, next week, we might be talking about two different teams in the wild card slots right now. So like, it's just a long jam to be honest, and it's gonna be fun to watch the next couple weeks how it turns out. And now we're gonna talk about the Yankees. The season has been a mess. Too many injuries. Judge missing 2 months basically killed the season, basically. So like, I don't know where this team can go from now. I think Cashman is the main issue. What do you think, PC?
No, yeah. If there wasn't a perfect time to say, "I told you so," I say that there had to be so much to go your way to be able to even make a wild card spot for the Yankees, and they gave you personally. I know that they gave you personally some false hope when Judge returned, and y'all had that good week. Y'all had that good week, and you thought maybe, just maybe, and then it all went back downhill. That's the story of the season. That's the story of the season. You know, injuries plague this team, ownership plague this team, coaching plague this team, and nobody knows where to point the finger. I think it's a mixture of all three. When you have a manager like Ryan Cashman, who rung this team together, who constructed this team, and a team that I don't think was like anything like spectacular, but you know, it was still a title contending team. You know, for anybody that wants to paint it otherwise, it was still a title contending team because Judge was the centerpiece. He was the guy, and you have Aaron Boone, the manager of the team, coach of the team, who I personally did not trust and think he should have gotten fired last year, but they decided to give him one more chance, one more shot. And now this season, execution from players, from leaders in that clubhouse, injuries in that clubhouse has doomed this team from the start of this season. I'm looking at a guy like Giancarlo Stanton, who is in his 30s at this point. Batting average is not good. It seems like y'all have to. I know y'all have to pay him a lot of money for the next few seasons for him to continue to play how he's been playing for really the last couple of seasons. And it's sad because you want as a Yankees fan yourself, Gianni, I don't want to personally see your team fail. At least for you, I don't want to see your team personally fail. Because Aaron Judge is certainly an MVP caliber player. He should be the face of the MLB. He's on the most recognizable MLB team, and instead we're constantly met with disappointment from the Yankees year after year after year. And it's sad. It's sad. I just, like I said, injuries really degraded this team, really dimmed this team from the start. But, something needs to change. I would do a full reset if I was, the Yankees, because I can't, me personally, I just can't personally put the blame on just one guy here. Mike, this is years of inadequacy and disappointment. That's how I feel.
Honestly, it's been disappointing. I'm not going to blame Boone. I think Boone is the least to blame here because I know he's working with whoever's out there, really, at this point. And with the injuries and everything, to me, I blame Cashman and I blame the ownership and I blame the training staff. It looked like they hired the training staff from Burger King, the way they handled the injuries and stuff. So, like, honestly, they look like they know how to flip a burger, but they don't know how to look at these injuries, honestly.
Like they don't know how to flip a burger, bro. But they don't know how to flex out muscles. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I like I said, I'm just gonna sit back and observe. You're not. I personally don't care. About the whether or not the Yankees have personal success or not. I'm not a division rival. I'm not even in the same conference as y'all. But it's funny. It's funny to watch. From the other side. For a team, even a team like the Red Sox, like they've managed to like hit their stride for the most part. To at least be in the conversation for a wild card spot. And I know y'all are in the toughest division in baseball as well. Every team at one point was over 500 in the AL East this year. So yeah, I think y'all are doing from the start, like especially with all the injuries. Y'all are just doing from the start, man.
Yeah, to me, the most injured team in the division, like the teams that are the healthiest, we're going to make the playoffs because the division is tough. If you can't stay healthy and your main players miss 2 months, like you're not going to be able to survive the division the way it is. And then that's what I'm saying too. Like it could have been different if Judge, because when Judge got hurt, the Yankees were like 13 games over 500, and now they're 5 games under 500, and it's just a mess. Like once Judge got hurt, they felt like in the bottom. Like Judge has been the one consistent player since he came back. That's been the only consistent offense. Outside of him, there's been no consistency. Nobody can even get on base, really. Like it's just tough to watch. We gotta see how this last month or so ends their season and see how it goes. But you want to know, I'll be delusional and say that they probably can make a little tiny run, but it was going to be too late.
Get that thought in his head, Gianni.
Yeah.
Open up your brain, take it out, throw it away. It's over.
Actually,
you're done.
Yeah.
It's over. It's over.
Yeah. So, well, that's the thing about the Yankees right now. In like 2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna know a lot more about this team, like how bad, much worse this team is, and if Judge gets shut down or not. So, time for your trivia question. This former player, was drafted in the NFL. He was the number 1 pick in 1986. He played for Raiders for 3 years, and then he went to baseball, basically. And actually, no, he started in baseball, and then he actually went into football. He played for the Royals, the White Sox. He's a famous player. He was a running back in the NFL. Played for the Raiders.
I mean, he gave it away. You see, could have stopped right there. No one overall pick. It's Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson was he was a freak. I love the synergy between We Hate Sports, Way More Sports. I mean, you gave me way too many hints for that sense. Once you said he was a former running back, it was GG's from there. Gee, come on.
Yeah, I didn't know like how to make it. I was like thinking in my car before, like earlier,
if you had given me somebody like Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson or Patrick Mahomes, maybe I would have been a little bit more stumped in that sense. But come on, Bo Jackson is like the most like famous case of baseball player turned football player, or football player turns baseball player. I lost my train of thought. But yeah, come on, that's too easy. Dude was an athletic freak.
He was crazy. And he was actually not bad in baseball either. Like
no, he wasn't. Like, well, I don't know what his official numbers were. I don't know if you have that.
I didn't see it, but he was a designated hitter. I think he was playing DH basically most of the time.
Yeah, so that's funny. That's actually really funny. You'll have to come back next week. Give me something that'll actually stop me, man. But yeah, almost had me. Thank you for Stickball Central, Gianni. So, like I mentioned, we have AEW All In. That is this Sunday in London, Wembley Stadium. What makes this event so historic, G, and for the listeners? AEW All In is the first non-WWE show to have this grand of an event inside a historic stadium like Wembley Stadium. Officially, I'll pull up the numbers. to really just like take in like how many tickets have been sold for this event. So WrestleMania 32 was in Dallas, Texas, AT&T Stadium, and that came out to about they said on air, they said during the show about 100,000 people were there. About 90,000 people were actually in attendance, but they really wanted to push 100K. That part doesn't matter. In the case for AEW All In, they actually sold over 80,000 tickets, which is already impressive as hell. But that's not even factoring in people that are probably trying to buy their ticket the day of, or get their tickets there in a couple of stand-ins. So I'm expecting at least 90,000 people in Wembley Stadium this Sunday, and it's a lot of wrestling. That's a lot of sweat. That's a lot of people that don't know how to use soap, But it's historic in that sense because it is the biggest wrestling event in pro wrestling history in terms of attendance. We'll get into the card here because the card is it's powered on the back of their homegrown guys and the world champion Maxwell Jacob Freedom, MJF. But I'm going to go through each match. This includes the pre-show or the 0 hour. And all the matches on the main card, everything that has been confirmed thus far. So let me just give you the official all-in card prediction right here. So for the FCW Championship, it's going to be Jungle Boy Jack Perry, the champion, taking on Hook. I expect Hook to pull out the victory here. I mean, it seems like the most obvious choice. I know Jack Perry just had that title, but I mean, come on. It's Hook, and he has his first pinfall loss was to Jack Perry. He's going to get his lick back. And the second pre-show match is the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles on the line. Aussie Open taking on MJF and Adam Cole. Better than you, baby. What makes this duo? What makes this pairing so unique? MJF and Adam Cole, because they'll be in the main event of this show, competing for the AEW World Championship. But before that, they have a chance to become Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. And I think I'm going to actually go with MJF and Adam Cole to win this. I really think that they're going to push this narrative that these guys are best friends and that they can win at any cost, at all costs. And they're going to use the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles as like something that people will, really like convince them like, wow, these guys really love each other. And that's when you get them with a heel turn. It don't matter if it's from MJF or Adam Cole, one of them is going to turn heel in the main event. But until then, I think them winning the Ring of Honor World Tag Team titles like is really going to convince people like, oh shit, like these guys like actually like really love each other as best friends. So I have it. Better Than You Baby winning that match. And that's just opening up the show. To start the actual card, Will Ospreay versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho is a wrestler that you may actually recognize even yourself, G. He's the leader of, the band Bozzy. Is a very recognizable face. He's giving Will Ospreay, a guy who's a name that's proven himself overseas in Japan, is one of the best wrestlers in the world. I got Ospreay winning this match because obviously I think Ospreay needs this win a little bit more than Chris Jericho does. I mean, Jericho is almost in his 50s. Ospreay is just hitting his 30s. So, I think, when you're a wrestler, you actually hit your prime when once you gain your 30s. So yeah, Ospreay, I'm going to go with. The next match here, coffin match, Sting and Darby Allin versus Swerve Strickland and Christian Cage, the TNT champion. This match was very easy to predict when it was just Swerve and AR Fox, but now, since for some reason they pulled AR Fox out of this match and inserted Christian Cage, I think I'm going to go still in this coffin match with Singh and Darby Allin to win. Close the chapter between Swerve and Darby, literally burying it within the coffin. So give me Singh and Darby Allin to win. For the AEW World Trios Championships, House of Black champions taking on the Acclaim and Badass Billy Gunn. I'm going to go with the Acclaim to win this. The story going into this, Billy Gunn, Hall of Fame career, Hall of Fame guys in his 50s, and is super jacked to be in his 50s, but he's slowing down, and he retired, quote unquote, but had to come back because House of Black could not keep his name out of his mouth. He attacked his boys. He attacked his scissor buddies. And yeah, I think the Acclaim, through the power of love, is going to win this match and dethrone the House of Black in Wembley. Now, for this next match, the AEW Real World Championship. Now, for the casuals that don't watch wrestling or don't watch AEW, the Real World Championship is held by CM Punk. The Real World Championship is the championship that he never lost over a year ago now. However, it was, essentially stripped from him because he, was out with injury. He tore his ACL and had to be out of action for close to a year. But I think he secretly also got suspended due to a fight that he had with the Elite and Kenny Omega and Adam Page and this whole scrum all the way back then. And yeah, now they're inserting this Real World Championship that he never lost in an actual wrestling match and storyline. So the Real World Championship, according to CM Punk, he's going to be taking on Samoa Joe for it. Samoa Joe is the current Ring of Honor World Television Champion. I'm going to go with CM Punk to win this, because they're setting up CM Punk versus MJF to unify and determine who is the true AEW World Champion. So yeah, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with CM Punk. This next match, now we're getting into all the multi-man matches. So Golden Elite, Kenny Omega, Kota Ibushi, Hangman Adam Page versus Konosuke Takeshita, and Bullet Club Gold's Juice Robinson and Switchblade Jay White. I'm going to go with Bullet Club Gold in this one. I just don't trust the Golden Elite to coexist with each other. I think Hangman is a little bit jealous of Kota Ibushi, and that's going to set up a match with him. This next match, the fatal four-way match for AEW Women's World Championship, Hikaru Shida, current champion, taking on Saraya, who's a hometown girl. She's from England, versus Toni Storm versus Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. I really hope they don't do this. I think they're going to actually freaking do this. Give me Saraya to win this match. Saraya is not my favorite, but you know what? She's a hometown girl, so why the hell not? The pop would probably be very funny to listen to in real time. So yeah, give me Saraya to win this match. For the AEW World Tag Team Championships, FTR versus Young Bucks 3. Man, I think I have to go with FTR to win this. And the Young Bucks really played well in Dynamite this past week. They really summed it up very well. FTR needs this win. Young Bucks' legacy is already cemented. They're gonna go down as one of the best tag teams of all time. People already consider them the best tag team of all time. They don't need to win the tag team titles again. FTR needs to cement their legacy and beat the Young Bucks. It's going to be an epic match. It's probably even going to be match of the night. I'm going to go with FTR to retain here. And hopefully, Dash Ruler makes it because, he was arrested for battery and assault, so hopefully he makes it to the show. Next match is Stadium Stampede match, Blackpool Combat Gold, BCC, Jon Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Wheeler Yuta take on, alongside Pride and Powerful, Santana Ortiz, who made their return this past week. They'll be taking on a team of Eddie Kingston, Orange Cassidy, Penta El Zero Miedo, and the best friends, Trent Beretta and Chuck. I'm going to go with BCC in this one because, yeah, it makes the most sense. I think it makes the most sense. Eddie has a lot of history between all the guys that he's facing in this match, and I just don't think he has it in him to even hit half of the guys in this match. So give me Blackpool Combat Gold. And the main event, I'm losing my voice here. AEW World Championship here. MJF, Adam Cole. I think MJF retains. Adam Cole turns heel on MJF. It's going to lead to something even deeper. It's going to lead to MJF going into a deep depression, and it's probably going to lead to CM Punk asserting himself as the top champion once again. Yeah. It's going to be sad. It's going to be an amazing event. In Wembley Stadium, like I said, over 80,000 fans are going to be in attendance. So if you're not doing anything tomorrow, tomorrow afternoon, because on the East Coast here, ESC is going to start at 1 p.m. That's going to be prime time for all the Brits. I believe it starts at 7 British time. So yes, stay tuned for AEW All In. Yes, yeah.
Peace. What matchup you're looking forward to the most?
It's a good question, honestly. This is a really good card. I think I'm gonna say the AEW World, the main event for the world title, MJF Adam Cole, just because there's just so much history there and so much can happen. Roderick Strong, who is Adam Cole's best friend, at least IRL. He said that we're going to see the real MJF and Adam Cole in this match, and it's going to be funny. Like it's going to be captivating. For the fans that don't know, like for you don't know, like Gianni, like MJF is the devil. Like he literally, like he will call himself, like he is the devil. And the greatest thing the devil ever did was the greatest lie that the devil ever told was make people believe that he was real. And MJF is the snake. He is a backstabber. And during this whole like storyline between him and Adam Cole, like he has been like a guy that has essentially like found his way to like the good side. Like he's found like faith in humanity in a sense, because incorporating some of this like IRL like real life stuff that he's like faced throughout his life. Like he has ADD. He is Jewish. He got bullied for being Jewish. He grew up in New York, and he uses wrestling as an escape. And it's really hard for him to bring people in and to trust people. And he always double crosses like somebody before they can double cross him. And Adam Cole, who was, MJF's favorite growing up, like one of the reasons he even got into wrestling, has like given him the reason, like has given him like this like faith in humanity back. So the fact that they're competing for the world tag team titles in the pre-show, could potentially win them, and then they're main eventing the biggest event in pro wrestling history, something's going to happen. I don't know who's going to turn on who, but something is going to happen in this match. And I can't wait. I'm going to be seated for that main event. I have this. Chew. Thank you. Outside of the main event, though, I probably have to say Sam Stampede match. Like, if you want to see like truly like wacky chaos in a wrestling match, it's going to be in the Sam Stampede match. Fun fact: the first Sam Stampede match AEW ever had, it was in Jacksonville Jaguars Stadium, TIA Bank Field, and yeah, it was just wacky. They literally went like everywhere within the stadium. Like I'm talking like the bars, the bathroom. They even had a cameo appearance from Urban Meyer, who was the head coach at the time, throughout the match. So yeah, definitely, if you're like a casual like wrestling fan, you just want to see like how like wacky wrestling you get, watch the CM match because it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Okay. Wow. All that talking really agitated my nose apparently, and I have to blow it. Let's just get to ending here, man. Best thing that I saw last week. Gianni, what's the best thing you saw last week, man?
Well, the best thing I saw last week, I was like doing some DoorDash around Jersey, and the amusement park was like close by, near MetLife, and like I was seeing like how they like make those rides, and it looked like pretty crazy. Like and when I see the people on top, like I lost my train of thought for a second. I thought that was like pretty cool, like somewhere that I would like to actually to go maybe because it's like it is like a pretty good attraction. Like especially like for the weekend. Let's just say like you want to go to the weekend, you can go there. So and they have good food from what I saw as well.
All right. Well, for me personally, there were a couple of candidates this week, but I think this video, it's a striped cuckoo. It's a bird that like does like this dance to attract females. I'm going to send it right here. Actually, you can see it right here. It does this dance. Look at this bird. Look at this bird. It's literally is stepping. It's stepping. It's the bird stepping. This is normal speed too. It's just
Oh,
so
that is crazy. Yeah, that is crazy.
it's pretty funny. So that's I would say that's thing I saw last week. I guess that's like a mating call. It's kind of weird seeing like different mating calls for all breeds of animals. I guess that's his. So yes, that's definitely the best thing that I saw last week. Um, Getting towards the end here, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 8 of WHMS. Thank you all for listening, for helping us through this struggling nights, where we were just trying to record and they just were not cooperating. Skype wasn't. So yeah, make sure you follow our socials, our Twitter and Instagram at WHS_podcast, and our YouTube, TikTok at We Hate Sports. The unedited version of the podcast will be posted on our YouTube channel. That'll be posted either tomorrow, about time tomorrow, because I'm doing a mud run tomorrow for the first time. Basically like think American Ninja Warrior shit. Like it's basically going to be that. I have to be up early in the morning for that. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So yeah, make sure you check out our YouTube. And for some reason, my neighbor's kids are banging on the wall. So hopefully you'll hear that. Yeah, make sure you go and check out our YouTube channel, where this episode will be posted. Call a loved one. Seriously, call a loved one. Check up on them. Just check on them. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It doesn't matter how you're feeling about them. Just check on them. And stay hydrated. One final thing, I hate to end the episodes for We Eat More Sports on somber notes, but unfortunately, I have to talk about the passing of two very influential wrestlers in the wrestling community, Terry Funk and Bray Wyatt. Terry Funk was an innovator of violence. He is someone that captivated audiences with his style of wrestling, his unpredictability, and literally inspired an entire generation of wrestlers. Stone Cold Steve Austin would not be the same wrestler he is today without Terry Funk. A guy like The Undertaker would not be the same wrestler, without the inspiration of Terry Funk. Those are just two guys there alone that have made a name for themselves. So rest in peace to Terry Funk. And then Bray Wyatt. Wyndham Rotunda. There was a bug on my laptop. Wyndham Rotunda was a father of four young kids. He was a husband to a beautiful woman. He was a cousin, an uncle, brother, a friend, and a lovely coworker who had such a creative mind for wrestling. One of, if not the most creative mind in pro wrestling history. And he had been through, a serious rough patch in his life. He was very open about his mental health, and how the fans, us, really made him believe not only in himself, but in his work again. He caught COVID at the beginning of the year before WrestleMania. Now, it was towards WrestleMania, so it was around like March, April. And it exacerbated a heart condition. And he had been out of wrestling for a while. And he was set to come back actually this month. Like, he was ready to return very, very soon. And then he had a heart attack. And left behind a legacy that nobody will be able to, match again. He left behind a wonderful family, and I'd be lying if I said like this one didn't hurt. Like this one like really, really hurt when I got the news of it. Because life's not fair. Bray Wyatt was a wonderful, wonderful character. Wyndham Rotunda was a beautiful, wonderful person who cared about everything and everybody around him. So the fact that he was taken from us, it hurts. Fuck the podcast for a second. You don't have to listen to anything else on this episode. You don't have to listen to anything else I'm going to say or promote or do anything. If you listen or get anything out of anything I've said for this entire night, check on the people that you love, man. Because you never know. I don't say that to, I don't say like call up on, check up on, tell them that you love them and say hydrate every week, every episode, just like as a thing, like, to keep like the episodes consistent every week for the endings. No, I say that because of situations like this and how unfair life can be, because life is unfair. And Bray Wyndham, however you remember him, he was an amazing person. An amazing person with a creative soul and wonderful characters he gave us throughout, his time, in pro wrestling. So rest in peace to Wyndham Rotunda, man. It sucks because, he created the Wyatt family. And for those who don't know, Brody Lee, aka Luke Harper, he passed away a few short years ago. And they were two of the original three members of the Wyatt family. And, WWE credits them. They did an amazing tribute show to both wrestlers, both Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk last night on SmackDown. You've had wrestlers come forward and, give like awesome stories about both of them. It's times like this where, we come together as a community, especially in the wrestling community, but really we should not be coming together just for like unfortunate, unexpected deaths like this. Just be nicer to each other, man. Just be nicer to each other and stay the course. That's all I got this week, man. Like I said, I hate to end the episodes on somber notes, but some things need to be said sometimes. And these were one of those times. See you for episode 9. We're recording this on a Saturday. We usually record on Friday, so I try to like be really consistent with that. But my job kind of hates me in that sense, I guess. Yeah, that's all I got. Gianni, you got anything else you want to add forward?
No, just sending prayers to their family and everything. You know, because it's just sad. And young age too, at 36. Tough.
Take care of your peoples, man. Skype, you getting a quick uninstall. I'm letting you know that right now. You're getting a very quick uninstall.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I got. Goodbye, everybody. Take care.